4:50 in the morning, getting ready to go up and look for more elk. Didn't see a whole bunch yesterday, but hopefully we'll have better luck today. Elijah and I are out here doing some early morning scouting. We've seen 2 elk, 5 elk. We saw 3 animals we thought were elk, 2 elk for sure, and 2 cows. And we're still looking. It's the day prior to opening day. We're mainly looking for where the people are, so that we can avoid them to the best of our ability. But so now it's starting to get bright out. Getting pretty close to the tree line. Stash a camera in there and see what's what. A lot of elk sign, stunk, tracks, and a decent game trail on the way out here. You saw that, right? Mm-hmm. They literally came. So, 2 elk. Ooh, let me zoom out. Jesus Christ. Yikes. So, yeah, we stop off. I'm hearing thumping around, and then 2 elk like just jump out in the road right in front of us. They came right at you when you did that view. They literally ran like coming right up the hill at us. Of course, I didn't hit the record button till about halfway through. Run, Eli, be free. We'll skip you out. You see some. Saw at least 2 cows in a big bowl down there. Like a nice branchy. So we were just driving and you know, we're on our way out of here. We're done scouting for the morning. He like goes, elk, big bull. And I look over and he's a 1, 2, 3, 4, probably a 4x4, maybe a 5x5. And they go like over the ridge. So I start filming like right away. He like jumps out of the side by side and just starts fucking skipping down the hill. Now he's perched up on a log, just watching them. And I think they're just sitting there. I'm gonna walk down and see if I can get close to them. All right. So, what final evening to scout before opening day? So far we've seen 6 deer, 1 little buck in the group, all whitetail. No elk yet. What's your prediction?
I don't know.
Fucking fortune teller. Okay, got elk. Oh, it's so blurry. Oh, there's an elk there. Take my word for it. Picking up some peak refuels using the Jeb oil. Some decent scouting happened today. Saw 12 elk. 45 elk is what we saw today, for sure. Alright, so I'm gonna jump in here with some context while I'm editing.
disclaimer, I did lose a bit of footage here, so you guys are going to be pretty upset towards the end. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty upset. But into the scouting, so Eli and I were out here for 2 days scouting. My dad showed up the evening before we were done scouting. So we'll be about to go into day one, where we just are glassing first thing in the morning. And in the middle of the night, we get a call. Nate, one of our buddies, is showing up to camp. He's hit a doe, and so that's what you're about to see. But apparently, he was bringing down Eli's truck, his spare truck with the Surons on the back, and he hit a doe with it. And yeah, I'll let the footage speak for itself there.
So Nate, this chunk of doe meat.
Deer down, deer down.
You're like, it just smacked into the side of it, and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks to suck. Holy shit. Okay, no dice on the morning hunt. So we're going to make our way back, probably eat, take a nap, come up with a game plan for the evening, and yeah, hopefully we can do better. Right, Dave?
Yep.
Do you even know what you agreed to? You're buying me a new car.
I'm just along for the ride, bud.
Yeah. Alright, they got us in the first half. But coming up on the evening hunt, Eli's switching over the four-wheelers. I'm going to the, I'm going to take the electric dirt bike up. Dave's going to take his four-wheeler up. And we're going to kind of spread out, try and find them, and then consolidate and kill some elk. Focus. 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 Whatever, that's good enough. It's literally focused on the dust on the lens. Got out to the first spot that we're going to glass for a little while. One of the guys in our camp managed to bag a bull in here this morning. We're in here in the evening. I know it sounds crazy to be right back, but honestly, last year my dad shot his elk, and then the very next morning, 100 yards away on the same hillside, I shot my elk, and it was the whole same herd back in there like clockwork. So we're gonna see if they move right through here, hang out for a little bit. Eli's heading to where he saw a big herd go off into some trees, and I'm gonna keep my radio on and hope for the best. Hope I get a text saying that I need to leave and go meet him.
Alright, so end of day one, just give you a recap on the first day. There was no elk for us. So one of our buddies did manage to get an elk in the camp, but there was 14 guys at camp, so it was a big group. But we didn't see any elk. My dad and I didn't see any elk. You know, they were not where we usually see them. I mean, we've scouted this area all summer, and we had them kind of down like clockwork, and something happened so where they were totally different places than we're usually used to seeing them. it was kind of rough, so we were like trying to switch it up and go different places that, you know, we usually don't see elk to maybe see them, because we were guessing. Like, we had checked everywhere we knew. Overnight, between day 1 and day 2, the weather changes drastically. We're talking like 80 degrees down to 50. It got cold, rainy, and foggy, like, overnight, and it stays like that and kicks our butt basically the entirety of elk camp. But, you know, I think we did a pretty good job dealing with the weather. So. Beginning of day 2, what did we see yesterday evening? Any elk? I don't think we saw any elk.
We saw any elk.
Dang. Well, we saw him in the morning, and it's morning, so we'll probably see him again. Well, we found elk and waiting for them. Alright, so first thing in the morning, my dad was like, we're taking the truck up, it's rainy, we'd be miserable, and I agreed. I was like, I'm not going to be miserable and soaked. We can take the truck up and hope that the weather changes and then hike in to spots from there. First thing in the morning, it's not foggy, like, at all, and I can see what looks like a group of elk, and I can tell they're elk, but it's like right before shooting light. And then the first footage you see is it's just a foggy hillside. So we're sitting there for a minute waiting for it to not be foggy anymore, and eventually I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna go down and see if I can see him from underneath the fog. So I bomb about 800 feet down this hill and then walk a road down below the road we were on and try and get over to him. And of course, as soon as I make it down to the bottom, the fog clears up and the elk were already gone. So I end up having to hike all the way back up to the truck and just get drenched in the rain. I mean, you'll be able to see in the camera footage, it was getting pretty nasty out there.
Alright, so got on the low road down below these elk. I'm gonna walk my way up this and try and make a move on them. I just literally came through that, if you can believe that. That was shitty, and I'm pretty sure I still have all my gear.
Oh man. It was fun until I started walking up that hill. I was like, oh, I'll be smart, this will be an easier way out. I mean, thank God I didn't try and go back up that hill. I would have been like, I give up, I'm just gonna die here. This is it, this is how it ends for me.
Yoink.
So I started looking up out of the bowl that we're down in the bottom in, and I think I see elk out there. So my dad and I decide, like, screw it, let's go hike into this bowl. The weather's kind of changing, like, maybe we'll be fine. And, you know, we're getting out there. It's a little breezy, but we're looking fine. And we do actually spot a cow and a calf and one other elk. And I couldn't tell what it was because it was behind some bushes. So I was like, okay, let's get in there and figure out what that is. That might be a bull. Like, that's what we were hoping for.
Spotted one and we're gonna head in and see if they're bulls. We couldn't tell. They were too far away. I should probably turn this on. Okay, so we've got one cow, one calf, one that we don't know what it is. And we're just gonna stay hard to this side and try and stay where they can't see us. Oh, he's a branch.
Okay, here's the rough part. I lose all the footage of us shooting at the elk. So that bull that you see right before it cuts back to me here, he's working his way across, and I decide I'm going to take him. Now, I thought he was a branchy. He ended up being a forky. That's fine. Either way, I really don't care. But I end up, my first shot, I miss him. I'm like out in front of him to the right. And so my dad gives me a wind call, like left, like 4 MOA, and I hit him back farther than I wanted to and a little high. So I was scared. So he jumps down into a group of trees, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like trying to get on him. He stays in there. So he stays in this little group of trees. That cow-calf run off. He doesn't run with them. I was like, that's probably a good sign. I start walking, to try and get a better angle on him, like coming around this bull. And I can see just the tips of his antlers sticking out over this thing. He's moving his head around, he's bed down. And that's when I knew he was hurt, because I knew I hit him. And I knew he was hurt. And I was like, I just don't know how bad. And so I decide I'm going to push in on him. And it just gets fogged in on my walk over to him. It starts dumping rain, getting fogged in, and it's like we're losing light. So I'm like, kind of like, what do I want to do here? I know he's hurt and he's laying there. I look back at the footage like 100 times, like, okay, this is going to kill him. He's not going to survive this shot. I just don't know how long it's going to take. He actually does stand up and turn around and lays back down, goes down. I really don't know. But my problem was I didn't want to push him with all this rain and everything and have him run off wounded and like die in the thick trees. And so I kind of was like, I gotta play the waiting game and wait him out overnight. I was like, I bet you he's gonna stay right there and he'll be right there in the morning. I spent the entire night like questioning my hunting abilities and if I'm a piece of crap or not, and that was a big like thing for me. But yeah, I just really didn't want to lose him.
Okay, so I'm sitting here. My hillside just got bogged in, so I'm waiting for it to clear up. Next morning, hiking in to try and find that bull. Looks like so I'm gonna be using a pistol, walking around in the woods, hoping that he's already dead. Okay, that'll fucking do. Right here. Literally diagonally down from that tree, 25 yards.
Nice.
All right, dropped Dave off, made it down the ridge, and now I'm walking the road back to the truck. Finally got some signal. Oh, someone's coming. Eli basically said yeah, no, everybody left. Sorry we couldn't come out. So, fuck. Thanks for a better story, I guess.
Whoa, we finally made it back to the truck.
Fuck. This is where I started running down the hill.
Alright, so I had dropped a pin where I thought he was, and my pin was about 11 yards off from where he actually died, and he died right where I had seen him lay down. So I know he didn't last long and ended up just waiting overnight. Now my dad and I end up hiking in there. As we're hiking in, you see it starts to snow. And I mean, there's no snow when we find him and we're on him. By the time we're starting to pack him up, there's about an inch of snow on the ground, and it's steep enough that I was like, let's get to the top of the hill, we'll hit up Eli. Everybody, camp wasn't far. I'm like, somebody can come up with a side-by-side or a four-wheeler and at least give us a ride back to our truck so that this can be an easy pack out. Everyone had left. So everybody had actually left already, and we didn't know that until we got to the top of the ridge with all the quarters in the head and everything. So I was like, okay, so my dad and I end up packing it down the other side of this ridge, and I end up walking around all the way around this mountaintop to go get the truck. It turned the pack out into like a 2-mile pack out when we thought it was going to be like a 200-yard pack out. So that was actually, that's a fun time because that's a story that we'll probably tell forever. But to wrap up, losing that footage, I was like so mad at myself about that. I had downloaded it to the solid state drive, and somewhere along the way, something got unplugged, something happened, it went corrupted, I don't know. But it was deleted, and honestly, all the footage was gone. All of the footage that you've even seen was gone, and I was able to recover most of it. But there was, like, it just so happened the actual footage of shooting him was just unrecoverable, and I'm not tech savvy enough to know why. But, growing and learning, trying to do these videos for you guys and all the hunting stuff, I know now, like, even if I keep it on a solid state drive, I need to keep it on the SD card, and as the SD cards fill up, they just need to go in a bag that sits on my on my desk until it's time to do the editing, and I just need to have more SD cards. So I'm going to pick up a couple of, like, those bigger SD cards for the future. So that's the learning, that's the lesson there on the YouTube side. I feel like a lot of people are going to have their own opinions on what happened with the elk. I mean, a lot of guys might say that I did the right thing. A lot of guys might say, oh, you should have pushed in there. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. I personally think I did the best thing. I didn't lose him. We found him. We got the meat, got him out of there. There wasn't much I could have done moving around. To give you guys a little perspective, once the fog came in, I had about 20 yards of visibility. So if I would have came up on him, he probably would have taken off running before I even had any kind of an angle on him. And so I really think it was unfortunate that we had to wait overnight, but because I hate doing that. I do not like leaving an animal I think is wounded in the woods. That's like, it was definitely a terrible feeling for me. But it was the best way in my mind to recover them, and I don't regret the decisions I made based off of the hand I was dealt. So that's that with that. So I guess this is the part where I say, like, I'm trying to pump out more of these videos for you guys. Like, subscribe. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more, because I still have to do my Washington buck. My Washington buck was actually a crazy story too, just like this one, unfortunately. And my Idaho buck. I still have those 2 videos to pump out for you guys, and then also my dad ends up getting an Idaho buck as well. So I'm going to be working on those videos, trying to pump them out here over the course of, the winter during my school break time. And yeah, so subscribe to the channel, and you should be able to see that stuff. Thanks for watching.